boy Harry 13 and your regular co-host Claudio. How you doing, Claudio?
What's up, Martin? I'm doing fine. It's time for
The
us to take a
excitement.
look at the new cards. Always
Yeah,
an exciting time.
I agree in this set, especially given the implications of some of the cards that have been spoiled so far. But before we dig into that, let's just have a quick recap of the format and where do you think the format is now, and what's your closing thoughts as this meta is about to change?
It's pretty funny that I think there's even now that the season's closing, some newcomers have showed up on the streets. Like the blue-red control deck has been really popular lately, and that's
Yeah.
like a recent inclusion.
Yep, and not
But yeah, things have been stable for a while, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. Not to mention the Neoform deck that has been quite popular in leagues. Ryan Donkin, he was the kind of pioneer of that in the Pioneer Streets. And if you're not prepared for it, it can get you. Yeah, I think the format's been pretty stable overall. Like, my final thoughts are that I still think Phoenix is the best deck in the format, and probably closely followed by Lotus combo. But I think for both Phoenix and Lotus, the skill level is quite high. So I think your win rate drastically increases with knowledge of each of the decks, and um how should I say it, it's pretty skill dependent, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you have decks that are clearly tier one that probably don't require the same level, like Winota, which has
Yeah.
been ever present since it's been ever present for a while, but it's really kind of been tier one since the start of the year with Kamigawa. That kind of pushed it a bit further up the pecking order. But yeah, my opinion is the format's been pretty diverse, pretty stable. However, I do think there is decks that shine just a bit brighter than the rest, and for me, it's Phoenix and Lotus Field.
Yeah, I think those decks are clearly the best decks, but not in the sense that they're not invulnerable. I think if you know what you're doing with your strategy, you have clear ways of attacking those, especially depending on the deck list that they're adopting at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's still not easy though. I've been playing a lot of Phoenix recently, and I've played against the blue-red control deck 5 times, and I've not lost it. And I was under the impression that deck was built specifically to beat Phoenix and Lotus, and I still managed to find ways to get the wins there. And obviously, it could be a difference in skill level there. I don't know, but it was in the
I would
challenges
believe
as
I would
well.
believe that deck is kind of maybe in response to the mono green deck being a thing
Yeah,
again
yeah,
because of
yeah.
Thing in the Ice.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah, Mono Green Devotion's really kind of picked up steam, and not to mention Mono Blue Spirits. That's just got more and more popular. I don't know if it's just because it's a really cheap deck a cheap and competitive deck to build on Magic Online, but that deck's
I
been
think that I
everywhere.
think that deck is kind of great against Lotus, for example.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the deck is actually pretty good. It's gone up in my estimations. I thought it was a bit of a meme deck, but from playing it more often, I actually think the deck there's definitely something there, and I think it is probably close to tier one. Kind of similar vein that Vampires is when it's good in the format. It feels very impressive. But yeah, I've seen that
Mm-hmm.
deck a lot as well. But yeah, I think we can kind of agree similarly, what the kind of the best decks are in the format. When I say the best decks, I don't think they're the best by a significant margin. I'd say they're just above the rest.
They're just more consistent at
Yeah,
putting up results
yeah,
than the rest, I would say.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's been a good couple of months, but now it's all about to change, and let's get right into it, Claudio. So
Yep.
we'll start with the multicolor cards first. There's a lot of mythics in this color. Obviously, it's a multicolor set. So
I
how
guess we
do?
can just talk about the lands first
Oh, the
because there's
lands.
there's
Oh, okay.
they're basically very important and there's basically only the triumphs.
Yeah.
So the set is two color sets themed like Cons of Tarkir,
Yeah.
and Ikoria. So we are going to have the two color lands, and these are going to have varying degrees of impact in Pioneer,
Yeah.
but they're going to allow three color decks to be explored at the very least.
Never miss
Because
it.
now,
Reborn noises.
yeah, I think the music is going to get like some minor improvements, but I think people are going to be trying to actually build bounce decks, Esper decks. I think the other terms are kind of more supporting, like the Naya and Jund.
Yeah.
They are not sure if they because the decks in these colors are kind of aggressive, so they're not super interested in tap lands.
Yeah.
But I think the other ones are pretty good, and they might spawn new archetypes.
I agree, and I think like I'm a big fan of Jeskai Ascendancy, and I think that these will almost certainly give the deck a bit more of a slightly smoother mana base, I guess. Like I think one of the major issues I always felt like I had with the deck was like balancing the red and white mana because they're the two um less prominent colors that you need for your spells, but you do need it to cast Jeskai Ascendancy, and you do need it to cast like your removal spells. So these will not only create new archetypes, but they'll further improve some of the greedier archetypes that are out there at the moment.
Yeah, for sure, especially the Naya one. It's a big get for chain to the rock strategies.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yep.
but
And
expect people to because this lands now exists, like try to brew a bunch of new decks because of like the mon's going to get better.
yeah, like you can maybe see some kind of like four color, like with the Esper and John Grixis lands, you could maybe see like a four color kind of thing there. Like there's just a lot of like opportunities here to explore. And I think this was one of the main things that, I kind of didn't like about Pioneer in terms of obviously I love the format, but like my only thing was like I really wanted more presence of other archetypes like the Grixis decks, Bant, Esper, Jund, like I wanted to see more of those strategies because anytime you got paired against someone that was trying to play Esper or Grixis, like you just knew they were never going to top a challenge or something like that because they'll fail because of their mana base like at least one of the matches, and now it's good that we have these. These are
I
amazing.
think I played the Grixis deck a couple weeks ago, and I think things have improved a lot in when you're trying to build mana base because now
Yeah.
we have the Innistrad lands, you have pathways, but these are
Hmm.
going to be a really big help for sure.
Yeah, and what are we thinking? How expensive are these going to be in paper?
Oh, I
I don't,
think they're going to be. I was looking at prices because I'm probably going to have to buy a bunch of those because of Niv. But I think they're going to be about as expensive as a Shockland or the old ones.
so we're thinking $10-15.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Prob-
so. I think you should, I think if you get these, if you ever get a chance to get these under $10, I'd probably snap it off because these are going to be not only in like Pioneer, they're going to be played as a one-of in a lot of modern decks as well.
Mhm.
So I would definitely, if you play a lot of Paper Magic and you play Pioneer or these formats, I would definitely, if you can get these at a reasonable price after $15, okay, not so excited, but yeah, these are definitely going to be picked up and these are going to be in demand for sure. So,
Yep.
what would you like to discuss next then?
Yeah. Okay. I think we can move on to white. I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
white.
Let's start from left. Yeah, left to right.
Yeah. So I think we're going to only talk about the cards we thought could see some play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
okay. So I'm not super excited about the mythics. Do you think any of them could be good?
I think like I don't know. I think like Elspeth is quite an interesting card. Like the card is like built for like some potential shenanigans. Like the -3 is really interesting. Like I can't really think of anything off the top of my head at the moment, but the shield counter could be like very big game if you're in some sort of weird kind of like combo strategy. Like I don't know if you're playing the Book of Exalted Deeds or something, for example. Um, but it doesn't really protect itself, and that's the problem, right? Like,
Yeah, I think this card is 1 mana too expensive.
yeah, I
If it
think so
was
as
4
well.
mana, we could talk about it.
Yeah, it does ultimate really quickly. I will say that, but like, I just don't think it's.
It's
I
not
mean,
even that good, right? It's 5 angels.
yeah, I mean, I guess it does protect itself if you're like thinking, oh well, if you're playing a creature deck, then you put a creature in the battlefield, I guess. But like, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's probably not going to see much play if any. Um, yeah, and the win the game mythics are always just way overcosted, and it's just not worth discussing. Security Warden, it's just like 1 mana too expensive to really talk about, isn't it? Like, yeah, I kind of agree. I don't think any of the mythics are that interesting.
Yeah, okay. So I think the this card is pretty good. Yeah, the Font of Hope.
Yeah,
Is it going to revive the Angels deck? I'm not sure, but I think it's a pretty strong creature by itself.
yeah.
If you're just looking at like what the card does, I think it makes your companies pretty scary.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I think this card's really good. In that kind of strategy. I, I mean the Angels deck's like it's a bit of a meta call, right? Like it's got very specific, you know, if you think everyone's gonna play mono red, then Angels is just insane, right? Like um it could be very good to play the Angel strategy week 1 of the format. Um I think the Phoenix matchup's okay. It's not amazing, but like
Yeah, I
you
heard
can
the Phoenix matchup was really good, especially now that people don't have Phoenix dice anymore, because the Angels
yeah,
can outsize the red removal somewhat
yeah,
easily.
yeah. So yeah, could be the time to play Angels again. I think the extraction specialist is quite interesting.
Yeah,
Um, I think like it's obviously like white. You've got cards like Charming Prince and stuff like that where you can do some sort of shenanigans. Um, you know, if like blue white Yorion ever comes back,
this is a human. I was thinking about this in the humans deck. Like if you rebuy Talis Lieutenant or something, that
yeah,
could be
or
good.
even just stuff like Thalia, right? That can like
Mm-hmm.
close a lot of strategies. Like a lot of strategies in the format still try and storm off, right? So like bringing back a Thalia is really nice. Thalia's a tenant obviously as well. Um,
Yeah, like this card asks, kind of asks you to blink it if you get some after you get something back, but I don't think you necessarily need to do it
mhm.
to get like to for this to be playable
Yeah,
in your
but
deck.
yeah, exactly. But I think it's quite nice with Charming Prince, right? You bring back Charming Prince, you exile it again, and bring back something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's pretty sick. Yeah, I quite like that card. It's it's just like a good
Yeah,
consideration for like
Renegade Rallier type
yeah,
card.
yeah, it's just like a good consideration for like some decks. So yeah, no, I
Yeah.
quite like it. I'm glad that they've kind of like power crept white a bit as well. You're seeing a lot of
This
kind of
is quite nice with the you know that card that makes a demon if you get it from the graveyard.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like there's a lot of potential with this card. I quite like this. Um and then you've got another
Mm.
Wrath, which is fine. It's not really
Yeah, I think it's
pioneer.
probably
Like
good for standards.
yeah, it's
Mm.
just that it's not pioneer level. Like we've got Supreme Verdict, and that doesn't see loads of play, you know. So um,
Yeah. Quite like this card patch up. I think like Call of the Death Dweller is kind of a playable effect, and this can get you up to 3/1 drops.
yeah, this card's really interesting.
If we are
Like
talking about like the deck with like Stitcher Supplier, the card that makes a demon, this that we talked about,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
maybe something.
or even like it might be too slow, but I guess you could if you're ever playing like Boros Feather or something like with the creatures. I don't know, but I guess it's too expensive, and you don't normally have like loads of threats. Um,
Oh, this could
there's
be nice with Feather,
mm,
actually, because you can actually flashback this with Arcanists
yeah.
and get loads of creatures back. Maybe for grinding matchups, you can sideboard one of this.
Yeah, something like if like and also if like what was the deck? The enchantment deck with Stram and stuff, it would have been nice, but that deck's not really a thing anymore.
Mm.
Auras. Yeah, Patch Up's quite a nice card. I quite like it. Anything else that really kind of a lot of
People were
the
talking about this card a little bit because it's an angel that draws a card. So this is maybe fringe playable in the angel deck.
don't know, like these cards have never been that. I mean, getting one life is actually quite interesting. Um, not
Yeah, I
overly.
don't think you would probably play this, but like the
It's
creature
a
type might
consideration.
matter. Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
People are also talk about this.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost
Safest
it's kind of
15.
it's given like more God's willing effects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is quite nice with Feather, right? Because you get to store
Is
a
it,
bunch of shoot counters on your creatures.
is it not? Is it better than God's willing, or is it just
God's Willing can give your creature unblockable, right?
true, true, true,
Which
true?
is
Yeah, yeah. Never
is
mind,
going to
never
come
mind.
up.
Yeah. No, bonus safety is annoying. I hate these kind of effects. Like I hate playing these kind of against those kind of decks. But yeah, it would be good for the feather deck for sure. Because maybe you only want like a fifth God's willing. Like maybe you don't want to play like loads, if you know what I mean. But maybe you just want like one or two more of those effects in the deck.
People play like the Fight as One in the sideboard sometimes.
Yeah. So like maybe this is just like the fifth God's willing or the sixth God's
Mm.
willing. But yeah, yeah, this will definitely see play if that deck makes a comeback. For sure, 100%. Um,
Yeah, I think that's kind of it for right.
yeah, 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 I think so. I
No,
think
not
so.
super amazing cards. Like Jad
No.
is probably the best one, but it's a really good one, I think.
Yeah, I really like this extraction specialist. I think it's really nice. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there could be some nice synergies in the humans deck for it. If there's space that is, but no, I quite like it. Um,
Yep. Okay, so we can move
blue,
on to blue.
blue.
Blue is kind of weak. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
they've not really done much. Like you've got like the big bomby draw a billion card mythic for super expensive casting cost.
Yeah.
Um, like when is your opponent ever going to draw four more? Are you going to like play this in response to like the peer into the abyss or something? Like I don't know. Like
Yeah, I
um,
also don't get this card. It's
yeah,
kind of.
four cards is a lot of cards. I don't really
Mm-hmm.
see the application. Maybe this is a niche commander card. Um. Yeah, and then you've got like six mana mythic that can be countered. Not really a big fan of that. Um, you've also got your classic like clone effect. Kind of
Yeah, if
nice.
this card costed three, it would be really good because you
Yeah,
could get rid of incarnation.
yeah,
But
yeah,
what do you think about this card? I was kind of thinking about it, like the Kraken, and I thought it could be okay out of the sideboard for some blue decks.
yeah. I think it's not bad. It's quite cheap, isn't it? And it's quite like impactful. Ward 2, it's good. Like we know how good Hall of Storm Giants is, right? Like Ward 3 is just like
Yeah, this is
unbeatable.
pretty beefy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite nice how like it's kind of not usual for blue to have like a beefy creature for like such a low casting cost.
Yeah,
Um, like it kind of is like what's the black card that you placed?
the secretion
Yeah,
demon.
it's kind of like a desecration demon effect.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's one of these cards that could see it being played somewhere. Not sure though. It's got a lot of competition.
I could say this being pretty annoying. Like if you're playing matchup where the ones are going to add up and pressure your opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the issue is like the classic, like when do you bring it in? Because everyone's piling in like four mystical disputes, sorry, and but I guess you'd bring it in against like more aggressive decks, I guess, like mid-range decks. Like
Yeah, I could say this being good against mid-range
it
decks for
it
sure.
definitely it definitely looks like a planeswalker killer, right? Like this just kills planeswalkers.
Yeah, the fish can't be blocked.
Yeah.
This gets better as well if you're playing cards like Kaito because it gives you unblockable creatures to attack with.
Yeah, and what I like about it, as I said, the six toughness, like I don't think anything kills it, bar like Fatal Push, which isn't being heavily represented at the moment. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, the card's pretty nice. And if you're playing a control deck, like, and you're against red black, like they're gonna board out their Fatal Pushes, right? Like you don't really keep them in. So, and
Yeah.
also ward too. So it's not like you have like loads of like spare mana. You're taking a turn to basically deal with it. So yeah, this card's quite interesting. I quite like it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is actually going to see play, but I didn't see anyone talking about this card, and it seems kind of okay for me.
Yeah. What do you think about Ledger Shredder?
Oh, it's this one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Don't think it's very good, right? Like it's a 2-drop that maybe loots.
yeah. And it's kind of like a Brineborn Cutthroat, except like doesn't have flash. Like really needs the flash, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah,
so yeah, probably not too impressive. And then like you've got kind of like the good like limited cards like Windshield Agent and stuff like that. Like yeah, overall just not that
there's
impressive, right?
a nice common here that I think is pretty good. Where is it? Make disappear this one. It's a
Um,
counter that you can copy by sacrificing a creature with 1 power. This plays very well with Young Pyromancer.
Make disappear, yeah. If you wanted to like maybe build like a Delver deck
Yeah, if you're going to have creatures lying around, this could be a pretty potent card, I would
or
say.
like a kind of like a yeah, like if you're playing some sort of token strategy, but like yeah, Delver like Pyromancer has been really impressive recently, so yeah, I could see that working. Um
But
was there not
that's kind of it. Do
was there a 2 mana enchantment that was spoiled, or was that for Commander?
human
I seen
enchantments?
like a 2 mana enchantment that was like enchant creature planeswalker or clue token.
Oh, that's a commander card.
Yeah, I was like, that seemed pretty powerful for a standard set, and I was kind of curious as to what it was. Right, makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
I think this card could maybe see play. Like it's a card that's in the same vein that Swan Song.
yeah,
If you remember that card, it's kind of the
yeah.
Swan Song variant. Like it's a undercosted counter that gives your opponent a benefit.
Hmm.
So this is the type of counter that usually only going to see in combo decks.
Yeah, yeah. This card's quite nice. Wondering if there's any sort of synergy that you can like synergize with yourself.
Oh yeah,
Not
you
too
can
sure.
counter your own spell to make this make 2 treasures basically. I'm not sure if this is ever going to come up. I guess if you have Sphinx of the Final Words.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but that's still very niche, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not really. Yeah, no, like the card's just like. But like the thing is, I'm seeing about blue is like a lot of these cards, like a lot of the cards we discuss, they're almost kind of like slight upgrades to existing cards, or not even like upgrades, like potential upgrades.
Yeah,
So
some really niche effects.
yeah, so there's nothing too interesting for blue, unfortunately. But let's see what black has to offer.
Yeah, let's see here.
So we've got Angel of Suffering. Not really that impressed. Like it's free toughness is very exploitable. Um, not
Yeah, I think this card is kind of medium. I'm not sure. Like it reads as a commander card to me.
However, what I would say is might be no, it's 5 mana. It's too expensive. It's too expensive for like the matches where that would be relevant. It's 1 mana too expensive, I think, or yeah, like against burn. But like, I mean, obviously you kind of think like, oh, is there a way like you can combo with this to like mill your deck or something, and then play obviously the cards that can exploit that? But I don't think so, right?
Yeah, unless there's a card that's whenever you draw a card, you take damage, for example.
Yeah.
Or whenever a card goes to a graveyard, you take damage or something like that. So you can basically loop this somehow.
Yeah.
It probably there's not something like that.
No, I don't think so. Hopefully someone can break it and then we can play inverter like decks again. But like so yeah, not too impressed with that card on the surface, but maybe one day there'll be a combo again. And you're just playing 5 mana inverter. Um Body Launderer, what's your thoughts on that?
Kinda on the fence actually.
Yeah.
I think this card is again 1 mana too expensive.
Yeah.
But it could see play like mm, the abilities are really nice.
Yeah. I agree. The abilities are nice, but it's just I don't really know what home it would be in. I think Mono Black Aggro's got the 4 mana spot locked up, so
Yeah. For this to be good, you would have to play this in a sacrifice deck, right?
yeah, definitely. Um,
Yeah,
we've
but
got
I really don't think this card is going to see any play. But maybe.
yeah, potentially. What
Yeah.
about
So, what do you
mhm.
think about the underdog? I have seen people talk a lot about this card.
what Shadow? Oh, the underdog.
Yeah, the
Um,
underdog.
I think it's pretty like pretty nice. I don't know, like kind of gives me like mono black aggro noises, right? Like you just play it as a 2 drop, and then you've got a recurring threat from the graveyard. I don't know how contested that spot is. Obviously, we get a lot of recurring creatures. Um, what do you think about it?
Honestly, like this card could be fine, but you would you would need to be in a deck that maybe takes better advantage of the fact that you're casting this from your graveyard.
Mm-hmm. I
Maybe you
don't know.
can pair this with Prized Amalgam.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this could be this. You could play the kind of dredge decks, right? Like, surely this is pretty nice to have in dredge. Although the blitz cost is quite expensive, though. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many you would want to play because, like, you kind of want to have your opponent on the ropes by turn 4, right? Like,
Yeah, but it's kind of nice to have something you can get out of your graveyards to bring back your amalgams after your opponent rots you or something.
yeah, of course.
This could be also a good mono black aggro card because this can block
And
unlike Scrap Heap Scrounger.
yeah, and it's also the stats are quite aggressive as well. Although it's a little bit harder. You need to use a little bit more of your mana, significantly more of your mana to recur it. So that is a big cost. I mean, in mono black aggro, you don't really want to be blocking that often. Um,
Yeah.
what do you think of Shadow of Mortality?
Yeah, I don't think this card is very playable.
No, no. As soon as I seen the second black on it, I was like, no way.
Yeah, you have to be at 7 life for this to cost you mana.
Yeah,
It's a lot of work.
yeah, a lot of work. Yeah. I
The
don't
thing
think
about that shadow that makes it good is that you can always drop it for 1 mana, even though it's small at the start, but you
Mhm.
can just play it, play it out.
Yeah, yeah.
But this one, it reads like a worse Scourge of the Skyclaves to me, and Scourge of the Skyclaves is a card I think could see play at some point.
yeah, but it just doesn't.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think the cards are there for it right now, but I think
mhm.
it's much better than this, and I don't think this is going to get there either.
Yeah, So we've kind of seen you've got the kind of niche like color hate cards like whack. Not really
Yeah,
that
this
impressed
card
with
is
it.
really weak to me if you compare this for example to Rail of Enfeeblement.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they kind of felt like they made mistakes with M19, was it? Was it M20 or M19? M19 when they like really pushed the kind of color hate cards, like with Veil of Summer and stuff like that. So I feel like they've just
Oh,
like
yeah.
really
I think
stepped
there's
back.
two sets that have those, right? There's one of the car sets, and there's also Ikoria. Sorry, no,
Yeah.
not Ikoria. Eldraine, right?
Yeah,
Because Eldraine has Mystical Dispute and the like.
yeah. But I
So
think
these are so weak in comparison.
yeah, definitely. They've really they've kind of toned down the power level of them for good reason, right? Like a lot of those cards were oppressive, right? Like I feel like Mystical Dispute was a bit of a mistake. Not like a major one that like would ever worth consider, like anyone would care about, but like kind of like warps like a lot of card choices for like the blue decks in the format, I guess. I don't know. I just like Mystical Dispute. Like I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of that card.
Yeah, the
Um
major issue with some of those is that you can main deck them
yeah,
if they're
because
really good in the metagame and not be embarrassed.
yeah, that's exactly it, right? Like Mystical Dispute is just like, you know, it's still a perfectly main deckable card. Like it can still snag a lot of threats, like paying 3, like mana leak. Obviously it's not mana leak, it's 3 mana, but like it's still a good effect on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Um Anything else you're seeing in black?
Um, I think this card could be fine. Grizzly Sigil, but it's more of a niche card that works well with Pyromancer as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Could see playing red black sacrifice.
if you
Um
can make that sort of deck works, this could be
yeah.
pretty good. Yeah, I didn't even think about the sacrifice deck, but I'm not sure if you need the sideboard card for aggro there.
hmm what do you think about, you always get one kind of weird like hand disruption card. What do you think of Extract the Truth? It's pretty niche, right? Like,
I don't think this card is bad. I think it's quite nice if you're looking to solve some problems. Like I think this is a great sideboard card, for example, against blue white control. If your deck cares about rest in peace, I think this is much
yeah,
better than Feed the Swarm.
yeah, no, true. I think yeah, it's more targeted towards control than like the Feed the Swarm with like the creature strategies. Yeah, I was kind of debating this as well, but I wasn't too sure. I was kind of thinking like, yeah, like we're seeing a lot of themes, right? Like a lot of these cards have like niche implications in the format where I don't think so far like there's been a few cards that I think are going to have a like will have a significant impact. But can't see I can't see too many. Well, from blue especially, but um like what's your overall thoughts on black? Like I feel like there's been nothing that stands out to me, if you know what I mean. Um,
Yeah, I think for me as well.
and I think what's happened is like Blue and Black have had a lot of powerful cards being released like fairly recently, and I think they've kind of toned it down a little bit. Um, so yeah, we could move on to red now and see what's happening there.
Yeah, I think these are the weakest colors. I think red and green are a bit better in general.
Yeah, I agree.
But like most of the power is going to be on the gold cards for this set. Kind of makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. No, exactly. Gold will take the kind of mantle.
Yeah.
Um, what you
Um.
yeah, because you get cards like Torch Breath, which is kind of one of the better color hate cards, I think. Like, what's your thoughts about this?
Hmm.
Like, it's obviously like
Like
you're
for 1 mana, if you're playing as a blue deck, you can shock something. But unless the 2 damage is really important, this is going to be worse try
yeah,
every
yeah,
time, right?
more often than not, but it gives you the option to have a more efficient removal spell depending if you're against like spirits, for example, like mono blue, but not not entirely convinced, but I think it is one of the better ones that they're printing. What do you think about Urabrask, the Praetor?
I'm not really seeing it. I think it's too
No.
expensive.
Do you reckon you could get a lock with the 2 mana can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands? I can't remember what that card is called.
The
The 1/4.
Magistrate?
Yeah,
Dranith
Dranith
Magistrate?
Magistrate. Yeah.
I don't think so. It
No.
sounds really, really gimmicky to me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I quite like this card, Structural Assault. I think it's a pretty nice Shatterstorm type effect that you can sideboard in some meta games. Sounds pretty decent to me.
Yeah, quite like it as
Say
well.
say say you're playing as the Rakdos Sacrifice deck. This
Yeah,
like
yeah,
deals with their engines and wipes the board.
yeah. This card's pretty niche. It still kind of gives
Yeah,
me like,
it's niche, but I think it's a really good sideboard card
hmm
for what it's worth.
yeah, it could, yeah. Initially gave me kind of like Hour of Devastation vibes with that kind of like role, but no, I can definitely see it.
Yeah, if you need to deal with artifacts and you're playing red, I think this is pretty nice. I think this is better than something like Bundle Blast if you
Yeah.
really want something to blow to clean the board because it's going to deal with the creatures as well.
What's your
Um,
thoughts,
mhm.
Professional Facebreaker? Any thoughts there?
I think they nerfed this card into the ground. I can see that this card triggered on each creature that dealt damage,
Yeah,
but
should have had haste, right?
yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah, I
don't think
think
I'm not seeing this cards being
no,
spelled with.
it's like it's got like one stat off being decent, but not there.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I'm not sure you can do something with this card, Jaxus, the Troublemaker, but this is something that like holds my attention here, but because I think the line of text is kind of powerful.
yeah. Um, the blitz
This
cost is really interesting, right?
yeah, mm-hmm.
So you cast it as a 2/3, and then you can just discard it. Like you just activate it straight
Right
away.
away. Yeah.
It's pretty scary, right?
Yeah,
Like,
this could be decent. Like I'm thinking that maybe you can play this with Bloodthirsty Adversary. Maybe you play some Madness cards like the vampires.
yeah.
That kind of old Rakdos Blood style deck. This
Mhm.
kind of fits there.
And the blitz effect's just nice to have, right? Like just to kind of finish games off as well. Like it just gives you a lot of versatility. Um, and like the thing about blitz is you draw a card, so you don't lose it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you draw a card at the end of turn.
Yeah. No, this card's quite nice. Don't know what shell it'll be in yet, but like
Yeah, it's a shame you can't Coco into this. It's
yeah,
a
yeah.
human.
4 mana. Yeah, I know. I know. Um Interesting one for sure. We've obviously got what's the most kind of prolific, what is the card that we really kind of want to discuss? I think the biggest card from red has to be, there's two cards,
Strangle.
right? Yeah, Strangle's
Uh,
number one, and I think Big Score is potentially number two. That card could be,
I actually disagree. I think there's a little common that I saw some people talking about that it's pretty strong.
which one is that?
Sticky Fingers.
Sticky Fingers. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That the name is just very questionable.
Yeah,
Sticky
so
Fingers.
it's 1 mana for an enchantment. An enchanted creature gets menace, and whenever this creature deals damage to a player, you make a treasure.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever enchanted creature dies, you draw a card.
Okay.
So the game could snowball out pretty quickly if you are playing, say, the heroic deck. If you put this onto a hoplite,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be hard to block. It's going to hit pretty hard, and it's going to kind of turn your creature into a Ragavan.
Yeah. Yeah, that is quite
And
nice
and
actually.
it also has the line of text when your creature dies, you draw a card. So it's pretty nice overall, I would say.
It's a nice card. I'm just trying to work out if that is more likely to see play than like big score, like the I don't know, just like the changing
It,
from like the strict
mm,
upgrade to unexpected windfall. But like, I guess like, yeah, you're probably
it's not
right.
that huge of an upgrade, right? Because I think
I
like
think
this is of course better than Windfall, but it's not like Windfall is destroying the metagame right now.
yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But I think Strangle is like by far the most impactful card, right? Like this card is just
Probably.
this is just a really big. It is a significant upgrade, right? Like people were talking about like fiery impulse and stuff like that, but it deals damage to planeswalkers. Like
Yeah.
this card is like I think it gives like Phoenix a big upgrade against like Narset, right?
But I
Like
think I think there's a small danger of playing this card, at least not playing Fire Impulse anymore because of Grisfang.
oh yeah, sorcery speed is a big downgrade, and I'm not advocating going all in and strangle and playing none of any other. Um, what I would say though is like it probably means you're not playing like so for example now, right? I think Nathan Stoyer's list of Phoenix is probably the complete form of Phoenix. I think it's the best list available. And I think it plays like four lightning axe, four fire impulse,
Mm-hmm.
and swapping between like um play with fire and the one that exiles the upgraded magma spray.
Blast
Flameless
Bolt.
bolt. So I think like you could maybe argue that the configuration would maybe change to like four lightning axe, two impulse, and three strangle. Like I think that
Yeah.
might be like the way you configure it. Like I definitely don't think you like just go for. I mean, you could maybe go four strangle, one impulse, but you probably want to play a sec. You probably want that fine balance of like enough instant speed removal because obviously you're playing decks obviously if like spirits is a deck as well that still continues to see play, then not
Mm-hmm.
having less instant speed removal is a big downside. But like I definitely think you're probably playing like slightly more strangles than you would be fiery impulses now. I think the card is like better in a lot of situations despite being sorcery speed.
Yeah. So I think this is pretty good, especially if you get to double this up with iteration to kill the fairy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it opens some lines for the Phoenix deck for sure, and like Blue Red Control might also play this.
yeah, exactly. Like I
It's pretty
think
solid role
it
player.
is a nice pickup. But yeah, I think that's it for red, right?
Yep, I think so.
So
There's also this card which uh, I think it's at least worth mentioning because it's 1 mana 1/1 that when it dies, if lights up the stage at top the top your cards of your deck, and you can play one. So kind of sacrifice fodder if some kind of decks wants this.
yeah,
Kind of a unique effect.
that is quite nice. The only issue is like it's just very irrelevant in the first like couple of turns, right? Like the thing I like about Stitcher Supplier is the effect is impactful. Like straight away, where this is like obviously later on in the game, this is great, but like early on, it might not. I think it's definitely worth considering
Yeah, this is
for
kind of
sure.
like when this dies, it draws you a card, which is kind of a different effect than Stitcher Supplier in a
Yeah,
sense. But I think that's mostly it. Like I was kind of disappointed that all the colors have Hideaway enchantment and they are all pretty bad.
yeah. There was I know you seen five colors there for a second, and you were getting excited.
Yeah. Okay.
So green,
Green.
we've got Thragtusk at home.
Practice
Uh,
at home.
yeah, Workshop War Chief. What do you think?
Mm, this could be fine. There's a lot of mono green decks right now. I don't see why they wouldn't maybe play this.
I mean, the blitz cost is nice though, right? Like, surely this is going to be like very relevant
Yeah, I can dump someone for 5 and make a 4/4 and
and
draw
gain three
cards.
life and draw a
Yeah.
card. Like, that seems pretty good.
No.
I think that card's pretty sick. And then this like bootlegger stash, like there needs to be something messed up with this, right? Like this has to be some this has to be able to do some nonsense.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you want to play this in the sideboard of your card decks to get. Like if you're playing Giant Sacrifice, you can make your lands make treasures for your Corvold or your Devil.
Mm-hmm.
Does that do something? Maybe.
Maybe is there a way to just like Jessica Ascendancy,
This
whatnot?
would be so sacred what reclamation.
Yeah, 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 it would be insane. Oh
Yeah,
man,
but
imagine.
probably not.
It's getting unbanned, mate. They're gonna unban Reclamation.
True.
Um,
Uh,
there's a lot of like reasonable
I
cards.
think this card could be playable.
Titan
The
of
Titan,
Industry.
yeah, like in
Um,
the kind of ramp style decks that people play.
yeah. I mean,
Like this does a lot. It's kind of a lot.
yeah, like I mean, it's basically like cast this and pretty much win the game, right? Like it's pretty hard to take this out. Depending on like what, obviously if you're against control that plays Supreme Verdict, maybe not, but like
I
so
mean, it kind of does, right? It beats a Wrath because it puts a shield counter or something. If you think
yeah.
they have a Wrath, you can make a 4/4 and make this
hmm
indestructible.
And what I like about it is it kind of makes the ramp like there's a few cards here that makes the ramp deck more resilient to like burn, right? So you've got like the Titan of Industry,
The
right? You've got
mm-hmm.
Workshop War Chief and you've got the Tupire Stomper, which could potentially be played, I guess. Like,
Yeah, I was
um,
thinking that these cards could be good in a Genesis Ultimatum style type deck.
yeah, 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 that's what I'm thinking as well. And I
Mm-hmm.
wonder if we'll see Ren 7 get played at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, it's time
Um,
to take the dust off the Omnaths.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Omnath,
I think
Omnath.
this card look pretty expensive, like and oh yeah, it's a commander card, but I think it could be pretty good.
I think in the mono green ramp deck, it's pretty nice. Like, it's just a very, I mean, Elder Gargaroth exists, I guess, but like, I don't know. Like the issue with Elder Gargaroth is it doesn't immediately gain you life. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a conditional life gain spell where this just like comes down. Gaining 5 life is huge. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so definitely, I quite like this card in that kind of strategy. Um,
Yeah, this is much more resilient than something like Elder
yeah,
Gargoroth. You
yeah.
could compare Gargoroth to the Workshop Chief, I guess.
Mhm. What do you
Um,
think? This Vivian card's really interesting, right? Like the plus ones, like mill 5 cards,
yeah, you mill 5 cards and you get all the creatures, and
and
plus
then
you pod.
yeah,
It's kind of expensive. This is a combo with Fielder Guardian, so but that's like for modern. I don't know. I don't think I would ever play this instead of the Ikoria Vivian. We both kind of like that card a lot.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. Um, anything else that you're seeing? What about the Gala greeters?
Hmm. People kind of compare this to Innkeeper,
Mm-hmm.
but it makes a tap treasure, which kind of shows you that they took a lot of care balancing this card.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of
Uh,
the tap treasure, I'm not sure it's actually good.
okay. Okay. I think the card's like definitely fine. But yeah, one of those ones where there's a lot of competition for that slot. Does it get
Mm-hmm.
it? Don't think so. Um,
What else here? I think this card is interesting. The briefcase.
yep. So
Like it's
you create a
a
1/1, you
yeah.
sacrifice it, add a mana, draw 3 cards if you control
Have
Niv Mizzet mana.
if you control the visit mana. Yeah,
Mm.
like this is kind of nice with like in the John sacrifice deck maybe because you can actually sacrifice this to Deadly Disputes.
Yeah, it's also nice that it's a treasure.
Well,
The treasure is irrelevant.
yeah. Not sure
Yeah.
if you would play this instead of Innkeeper though, but
Mm. So yeah, not sure either. I was gonna ask you, what is your thoughts on the warm welcome card? Is it just bad? I've seen some people like talk about it, but like casting a 1/1 at instant speed and then like you know, drawing a card essentially.
I'm not sure. Like,
It's probably not good enough to be fair. Like,
if your deck is looking for some specific creature to assemble a combo or something, you could play this.
mm,
But I don't know. Why don't you play Eldritch Evolution instead? I'm not sure.
yeah. No, you're right. I wasn't. I was just curious on your thoughts on it. I wasn't too. Didn't really know what to think. I thought it was mediocre, but in case I was missing something, yeah.
Yeah, probably like a good limited card.
Yeah,
But that's kind
yeah,
of it. I would say.
yeah. I agree.
I
Yeah,
think that's kind of it for green as well. Like
yeah.
again, kind of lackluster. But I think there's some promise in the big dumb idiots here.
hmm Let's get to the juicy stuff, Claudio. That's what everyone's here for. Let's talk about the multicolor cards.
Oh, you're saying Meeting of the Five, the best five color card ever.
Oh, unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable. Um, Jesus Christ, that's a
Yeah,
powerful card.
powerful card. I'm kind of mad that all the family leaders kind of suck,
Yeah, yeah.
but
There's none. They kind of give me like, um, Fate Reforged Dragon vibes. Like, they're just
yeah,
nothing too impressive.
I would say that Rafine is kind of well started, but I'm not sure which deck would want to play this
hmm
card.
hmm
Like it,
It
it
just,
has a lot of attacks. It's big. It has ward.
eh,
But I'm not sure why would you want this.
I just want to play. I just want to cheat Lord Xander into play with Sorin.
Yeah, I was going to say that the Xander that Sorin deck is going to suck, but I'm going to lose to it, and I'm going to be mad.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh yeah. I think this card's pretty insane, and you can just play it for 3 mana. You kind of have to just go all in on it, right? You kind of have to play 4 of these and 4 Sorin.
Mm,
Because like the effect is like so powerful, right? For turn 3.
I don't think you need to go that far. I think that maybe you play some harvesters in your deck so you can loot this away if you don't have Sorin going. Like you don't need to be so mimi. You can just play like 1 or 2 copies.
I want to be Mimi though, Claudio. Look at it. So
Yeah,
good. Like,
yeah. When this
so
works, it's going to be so disgusting.
what's that? Sorry, I misheard you there.
Like when you put Thunder into play with Sorin, it's going to be so disgusting. It's going
Yeah,
to be
like
sickening.
I'm wondering if there's like a Grixis deck that like runs like a kind of Grixis vampires, but you're not leaning like all in on the vampire strategy. You're just kind of playing like kind of like some of the kind of free cards to play, like Dust Legion Z a lot, and playing like I don't know, like maybe you play like one or like some Kalitas or something. Um, and I don't know, maybe I definitely want to try out, man. This card looks the nuts. Um,
Yeah, I won't be touching this, but I will be losing to it for sure.
yeah, and then we've obviously got Obnixilis, another very promising planeswalker. Like I think I remember you saying you weren't as high on it. Like what's your thoughts on it? Like
Yeah, I think this card is really good, but I think that this is going to be a sideboard card.
really?
I think people are way too overhyped about this because like I could be wrong, but the way Omniscience reads to me is like a card that's really weak if you are under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Because like it's kinda attacking your opponent's hand. It's making a 1/1. It's not super great, I would say. And it's like
Yeah,
three
like
mana for that. If 3 mana to shock your opponents and make a 1/1. Like is that really what you want to be doing if you're playing against like Winota or Mono Red? I don't think so. So this card kind of sucks.
Don't know. Like, there's obviously like combo shenanigans as well. Like, I guess like, um, if you're playing stuff like the Rotten Regisaur and stuff like that, it's kind of like kind of nice. Like, I think like, you know, playing it, sacking Rotten Regisaur, ultimating it, like, could be nice because like, just as much as you like drawing 7 cards, like obviously the losing 7 life, like target player is very relevant. Do you know what I mean? Like, I
I
think
know,
there's,
but I'm not sure you are going to actually play that kind of deck.
well, it's kind of like, I don't know. I just think you can like fit it into some sort of like Rakdos, like kind of aggro mid range strategy, and it's like a nice kind of finisher, I guess.
Yeah, I think this card is great in the Rectal Sacrifice deck, but mostly out of the sideboard. If you're playing, for example, I think what this card is going to do, it's going to make you really good into the White Exile effects.
Okay, okay.
If you're playing as March of the or the Worldly Light, if you're playing as Farewell, this is something really good to cast. It's resilient, it's sticky, and if you're
Hmm.
playing as deck like Blue White, they're not going to be pressuring you. So
Yeah,
I think
I think
this card is going to shine there.
I think it's +1 ability, even if you don't sacrifice anything of significant power, is still like having the ability to like do that twice is like very relevant, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to add
Mm-hmm.
up fast. Um. So right, right, okay. It isn't as nonsense as I thought. Like, you can only use its casualty. You can only use its casualty effect as you cast the spell, right? Like, it doesn't allow the token to have casualty as well.
No, no.
Okay, because that would just be ridiculous. Um.
Yeah, that's why I think this card is really good against control because you are guaranteed to at least have one of your Obnixes resolve if you sacrifice something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of hard to deal with both of them, and it kind of has that kind of what's the kind of Gruul enchantment creature, the god Clothis, kind of
Clothis,
gives
yeah.
kind of gives Clothis vibes that way, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but it also like it must be kind of, but it can be attacked, but it also has potential to do some real damage if not dealt with. Um, so yeah, up next, let's see what happens. I think it's gonna see waves initially. Maybe it will die down as Claudio suggests.
Yeah, I
Um,
think this card is pretty good, but people are thinking that this is like Lilian of the Veil power level, and
mhm.
I think it's fine.
Okay, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Um, yeah, so for the other cards, I think this card is pretty neat. Endless Detour, like this
Hmm.
is the type of card that, like as we said before, since people are going to try to build like Bans decks and stuff like
Hmm.
that, Growth Spiral and Teferi, this is certainly going to see playing those.
Yeah, like it basically counters a spell, right? It's like a counter spell.
Yeah, it's like a
But it's more
Idrigas as
versatile.
well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually really nice.
Yeah, but
Um,
the nice thing about this card is that you can, for example, regrow a spell to the top of your library.
yeah.
So like if you
I
need to
mean,
verdict again, right, or something.
right. So wait. Um, so you can wait. You cast Supreme Verdict, and then
Yeah,
it's in your
then
graveyard. It's
yeah.
kind of like Mystic Sanctuary, right? Right, right. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it's a little bit more niche, but yeah, it's another versatile effect that like that's why they're good, right? Because they have some really niche effects but they do come up from time to time, and then it's really worthwhile if you need that effect to happen. So yeah, yeah, I can get behind that. Yeah,
Yep.
this card is much better than I thought. Like, when like once I read it and realized, no, this is actually just a counter spell, like an Aethergust style counter spell. Yeah, this card's pretty sweet.
Yep.
Um,
What else do we have here? I think this card is nice. You could probably play this in the Winota deck if you
it's
if you need it.
it's quite a nice hedge against burn, right? Like, haste and
Yeah.
lifelink is just like really good. Um, yeah, like this card. This card's nice.
It's a nice stat line. Not sure which deck wants this, but if some decks wants this, it's a nice effect.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. What else are we seeing?
Oh, I kind of like this card. This is more of a build around. This kind of speaks to me in the deck building sense.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever like you can turn any tokens you would make into a 2/2 cat with haste or a 3/1 dog with vigilance.
Yeah.
So this works with innkeeper, like treasures, stuff like that, foods. So this card is kind of nice.
And also, like, for the record, like, it's kind of blinding, like, but you can just ignore like one of the colors and it's completely fine, or you can just, you know, pay
Yeah, this card is very flexible.
yeah, pay like double green and red, or you can play like triple green, or you can pay Naya, or you can pay double green and white. It's like it's just a really interesting card design.
Hmm.
Yeah, as you said, like obviously it doesn't have any other effects. You know, it can be dealt with quite easily. But if you leave it on the battlefield, yeah, it can get out of hand quite fast. Um,
Yeah, this kind of works. It's funny. This kind of works well with the in the Winota deck.
yeah, yeah. Um, and then you've got
Yeah, but
like
I think this card is kind of interesting. I'm not sure if it's going to see play somewhere, but it's like a like it pays you off to build around it.
yeah, and you
Um,
Void Rend. That's quite a nice one, right? Like
yeah, kind of in the same vein as of the detour, right?
yeah,
People are going to try to build Esper, and
yep,
this is a nice one.
yep.
It's kind of simple fact, but
Mhm.
pretty decent. So I think.
Yeah, I like this
Mm,
card. Scheming Fence is quite a weird one. I don't really know how to evaluate it.
I kind of don't like this one. Like the way I see this card is like, would Piffy Needle be good if you needed to play it after they play the thing you want to needle?
Yeah, not sure.
So I think the pretty much the only ascendancy that's kind of interesting to me is the Maestro ascendancy.
Yeah,
It's kind of in the same cards as I talked about before. They like this works pretty nicely with Young Paramancer.
yeah. Maestro Sense is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Um,
So this kind of works nicely with Crocs as well if you're playing cards like
mhm,
that because you can play your Crocs sack it to flash back like a Opter Fatal Push from your graveyard.
mhm.
Not sure you
Yeah,
can build your deck around this card because you need to balance playing creatures and spells, but like I could see playing like one of these and it being good.
there has to be a good like Grixis sacrifice deck. Like I think you were kind of playing with that a while ago. Maybe there's something here, but obviously like a Sensei is a bit of a difficult one. A Sensei is like they don't actually impact the board on their own, so their effects have to be really powerful to justify them.
Mm-hmm.
But this might be good enough. I don't know. 'Cause obviously Jeskai Sensei is insane, right? Like it just wins the game. Like it's a combo with another card. But like yeah, so for it has to be on a similar kind of power level in a way. Um, doesn't have to combo win, but it has to have a very potent effect to be justified to play. Um,
Yep.
so
I think this
what
card is nice as well. Did you what do you think about this one?
the Obscura,
Interceptor.
the Obscura Interceptor. Yeah, I mean, Flash is really nice. Like, it's kind of,
It
to be,
reminds me of Vance, right?
yeah, yeah. I think it could. I just the issue with these cards, right? I just the blue bothers me because of Mystical Dispute. Um, but I do think it is kind of cool. Just the one toughness is kind of. I will say though, the lifelink is really nice. The one toughness kind of like you're basically like at best countering a spell and trading for a creature, right? Like
It discolonizes when it enters play, so it's a virtue, I guess. So
yeah. So as a 4/2, like what are you doing with it? You're basically like um
I kind of mentioned this because I saw some people playing like the Esper Flash decks some time ago,
mhm.
like with Spell Queller, cards like that, and this is kind of on team,
I don't know. I just think
kind
I
of
just
sketchy.
it's 4 mana, man. Like I just feel like it's gonna have too much competition with like Wandering Emperor, right? Um That's the way I see it. I feel like
Oh
Wander
yeah,
Emperor is the
that's
best
sure,
kind of
sure.
flash effect you can do, like in like combat phases and stuff. Like I don't know. It's definitely on like in a vacuum. The card's like definitely very powerful. Um, Not seeing where it replaces Wandering Emperor, I guess. Um,
Yeah, you're probably right. It
mhm.
doesn't have relevant type
It's a
creatures as
nice card.
well.
It's definitely a nice card though. It's definitely
Yeah,
one of those kind of commander cards, right? Like it's pretty sweet. Um,
I quite like this card.
the
Lagrella,
Ligrella, the Magpie.
the
Yeah,
magpie. It has a nice name, you know.
yeah, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, so
Um,
I think this card is pretty good for humans and for incarnation
yeah.
because it like at baseline this is a fiend hunter,
Mhm.
and but the twist is that you can exile one of your own creatures, and when it comes back, it gets bigger.
Yeah, so it's kind of like
So
you kind of put your opponent in an annoying spot where they kind of want to kill the Ligrella, but then they're like, oh, your creature just got bigger. Like
the
that
Yorion
is a
or
problem.
whatever is coming back, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, exactly. So like the kind of like when we were discussing earlier, like you just like all these like ETB effects, it just makes it a bit of a headache to deal with. And I think like some people will be like, okay, I'll just leave my creature behind because it's not worth the Yorion coming back or something like that. Um,
Yeah, you could get like the rescue with this, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Crew cat.
I could see trying to like build humans in more of a
Mm,
blinky type strategy,
yeah.
not so aggressive. I could see. I think this card is good regardless. I think it's a Fiend Hunter with upside if you can produce burnt colors.
Yeah, I think so as well. I quite like the card. It's just a really interesting card design, and I like it a lot. Um, my next card was probably going to be the Tainted Indulgence.
Yeah, I knew you were
Uh,
going to go for this one.
oh, so nice, so nice. Um,
Just pretty powerful, right?
yeah,
Nothing to say here.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just a nice card, like a charter course, but potentially like not
Like
charter course.
instant speed shirt, of course, is something that never existed,
Yeah.
right?
No, I mean I'm pretty sure there's quite a few effects, right? But a lot of them are like red based, so you have to discard the card first. Right? Is that right? But yeah, the
Yeah, like tormenting voice, right? That
yeah, exactly. It's like an additional cost, discard a card rather than draw two cards, discard. Um,
mhm.
it's just gonna be interesting to see like because the issue is like the blue decks want to delve in Pioneer, so like I don't know how relevant the five or more mana values is going to be in the format. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not super sure that's super true anymore with memory
Deluge.
deluge.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's a good point. That's a good point.
you can kind of go away from that a little bit, but like
Hmm.
this obviously slots nicely into the Grisfang deck.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, I think this card is going to see play somewhere. Like it's a good fair card, and it's good for if you care about discarding specific stuff.
Yeah, and I think like as you said, like Esper Fang would like this card certainly. So who knows, that deck might stick around. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of gone down in popularity, but like it's still around somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
What else do we have here? Do you think any of the charms are going to see play?
probably, but it'll be the same as like the Can's charms, right? They will eventually just disappear. Like people will experiment with them for sure. Like
I think the
Obscura.
Obscura charm is quite
Yeah,
nice,
I was gonna
right?
say Obscura charms is nice, but the issue is like I feel like the card would be I feel like the card would be so much better if like Teferi Time Raveler was around. Um,
But like you can get like I'm thinking about more specifically the Griswing deck. Like you can
Good
get
point.
Griswing deck
Actually,
with
that is
this.
that is a very good point. Actually, yeah, I was just
It
focusing
it
too much on control.
it destroys Narset as well, which is a big problem for the
Yeah.
deck.
So countering like countering instant like having a negate effect stapled onto um
Two very
like
relevant effects for your deck,
yeah,
right?
what's the card, the 2 mana black spell that does that, that destroy target creature planeswalker mana value to your list?
Eliminate.
Yeah, having eliminate combined with like negate and like yeah, this card's quite, it almost like will be relevant in any matchup, right? Like
Mm-hmm. For sure.
so I think Obscura Charm is definitely one to kind of consider. Um not really that impressed with Maestro's Charm.
Yeah, I don't think it's great.
It's three conditional effects, right?
Like if you're playing these colors, you have expressive iteration for card
Yeah,
advantage.
exactly. You're probably not that interested in Maestro's Charm. Reminds me
Mm,
of like Teamer Charm and Cans, where all the effects were very kind of like none of them were none of them were especially like good.
Yeah.
Um,
I think Revector's Charm is pretty strong, but there's probably not going to be any deck that actually wants it.
yeah, like I don't know, like not
Like Jund
overly.
mid-range type stuff.
I think like the issue is though, right? The one thing I would say about this card is like the exile top three cards of your library effect is very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on where you are in the match, right? Like that's like I feel like Riveteer's Charm would be like a very nice card to play against control potentially. But like
Sure.
you just have to work out like, well, what deck am I playing that is in these colors?
Mm-hmm.
Um like because like the sacrificing a planeswalker with highest value, like obviously getting
To
rid of
Teferi.
Teferi,
Yeah.
or like imagine like having like multiples of these and then just like counter it, do you counter it, do you counter it? Do you know what I mean? Like, because
Yep.
like yeah, that effect's really nice. So maybe like if there is some deck like a kind of like a kind of bigger mid range deck that wants like access to a card that can like deal with control, um, this is one of the best. This is a very good card to do that. But as you said, I don't know where it fits.
Yeah, it wants your cards to be really cheap as well, so you can actually use your cards most of the time.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
would say like
It's
you
so
get like a land and two other cards. Your
yeah.
cards kind of need to be cheap.
So like maybe like Jund Sacrifice,
Mm,
like or like a kind of Jund mid range deck, like could play it. I guess like maybe one or two copies in the sideboard, or like one main, one sideboard kind of thing. I don't know.
yeah,
Um.
you can exile someone's graveyard, which could be
Mhm.
relevant.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Uh.
think it's a nice card without that's not going to have a home.
Yeah. Agree.
I think the Bunch Charm is kind of whatever.
Yeah.
If you're playing Bunt, you might want to run this.
It's just like one of the modes is just never going to come up though. Like, do you know what I mean?
No,
Like,
I think it could be fine. Like especially if you're playing Shark Typhoons and maybe you're playing the Wolf.
true. Okay. I ban flash. Okay. Okay. I can get behind that. I can get behind that.
Yeah,
Um.
Wanderer making some big tokens. It's
Yep.
not super bad.
Yep. Yep.
Um, I like Cabaret's Charm. Could see we know to play. The
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
defeat deck, I guess.
Yeah. What do you think about Nimble Larcenist?
Oh, I think this card is pretty nice. It's going straight into the Incarnation deck.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice. It's just
Like
another Sin Collector, right? Like very kind of.
it's better in Collector. You
Mm,
get artifacts as well,
true.
and
True. True.
it flies.
It yeah. It's actually just a strict. Obviously, you're paying another color, but it is a strict upgrade.
Yeah, people love playing Sin Collector in the Yorion piles before, and I think
Yeah.
this card is not super bad. Um, I think that's kind of it.
I think I actually kind of like that. It's probably too niche, but it wouldn't actually be the worst like sideboard card for like Esper control as well. Like just having like a for some of the matchups, it's just nice to have a solid 2-for-1.
Um,
But it's probably just not quite good enough, I guess, in that
yeah,
build.
I think you need to be able to like blink this for it to be great.
Yeah, but I mean, you could also play Esper Yorion as well, right? Like people are playing
Sure.
Esper, people are playing blue white Yorion, so why not play Esper and just have like a kind of more creature heavy sideboard? Or you could just play
Yep.
like a kind of creature control
Charming
build as well.
Prince, this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not the
Yeah,
worst.
I could see it. I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it for the multicolors. Like as we said before, like the multicolor cards are way stronger than the There was the monocolor card's pretty
Yeah,
sad, but I
yeah,
think that's kind of understandable.
yeah, definitely.
Let's see here. There's also
The artifacts with this.
the artifacts, which I think are worth mentioning as well because there's some interesting cards here. Here. So only a few of them, but there's some good ones here. I think I'm going to say that this is maybe the best card in the set.
Unlicensed Hearse. What a
Yeah,
name. What a name.
this could be a bust, but I think this card is kind of nice because it's a great colorless card, so you can play this in any deck you want.
Oh yeah, it's like still relatively cheap and its effect is very relevant, right?
It could, yeah, it can be relevant in some meta games, I would say. And it's two cards for every turn, so it's even relevant against a deck like Phoenix.
Yeah, yeah. 2 cards is pretty nice. Yeah, I can definitely see this being played 100%.
Yeah.
Especially in like any kind of artifact based strategy. Anything else though? I'm not really. We've kind
Yeah,
of
people are
discussed
talking
some.
about a lot the sword, right? That the sword can enable some combos.
So yeah, okay.
So this is something that the and if you're playing fair, you can also play this with in the mono green deck, like
Mhm.
sword up the Kiora, so you can beat down.
Mhm. So that's kind of interesting. So wait, so basically what this, as you said, like what this does is like, so say you have like a planeswalker, it has power and toughness equal to its like counters on it, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So if you equip a Gideon with this, it gets huge.
And is there not Gideons with text like as long as this is a creature it's indestructible, or am I thinking like that's only like plus loyalty abilities?
Yes, the loyalty abilities.
Okay, okay.
So the idea is that you can transform it's like into a 5/5 or whatever, and still going to get the +1.
Oh, so it becomes like a 10/10 at that point then, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Jeez.
Jeez. Yeah, definitely that's definitely an interesting card for sure. 100%. You just
Yeah.
blocks and it's so cheap as well. And it's only 1 mana to quit Planeswalkers, yeah. Might see some disgusting stuff with this card.
Yeah, but
But
it'll probably be like a niche sideboard card for Karndex, if we
yeah,
are
yeah.
being honest here. But
Yeah.
I think it this has combos in modern, so you never know, they could print a card that combos in with this in Pioneer
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Definitely. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the review.
Yeah, I think
Um
that's kind of it. But what do you think about the set overall?
I think it's one of these sets that like see because I'm so far removed from standard, I don't really have like any sort of like I'm excited for it for sure. Like I think like the new lands are amazing. I'm really happy we finally got the triomes we wanted. And there's definitely I definitely think there will be some surprises with this set with cards that we've maybe overlooked a little bit. Um I'm just excited to play. Like I just are you I'm just I'm just gonna have the headache for the first couple of weeks of just trying to figure out what people are doing and what to do in the format though, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna affect the format significantly. So it is gonna be, I've been farming like MTGO leagues with Phoenix, and that is probably not gonna happen anymore. So
Yeah.
I need
I
to
mean, we can still probably find people trying to cast Nicol Bolas the Ravager now that the Grixis Triumph is out
Oh
there,
my god. Oh my god, yeah. Discard a card. Oh no.
Discarding Phoenix.
Game over. Game over. I definitely think I'm not going to be playing control for a while though, like till we figure out where the format is.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
I
It's
think,
always a good stance.
yeah, wouldn't mind playing some mono green ramp, but I'll probably get farmed. Um, yeah, we will have a discussion about what we were thinking is worth playing week one. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think and Claudio and I
I think you're kind of right. Like some cards that have the potential to see play would have been missing this reveal for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and also, just an FYI, everyone, I think we aiming to write like a kind of top 10 cards that we think will impact the format. So that'll be available on the Tag Team Patreon, which we'll try and get out pretty soon, right? Because it's
Pretty
the
soon, yeah.
set comes out like the Friday. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Probably get it out for the Friday, right?
Yeah.
I'll be free to write about it at some point tomorrow and give my thoughts on top 10 cards, and then I think Claudia will be doing the same. We'll see where the similarities we have and where we differ.
Yep,
But yeah,
sounds pretty good.
this has been a long episode, so
Yeah.
we'll wrap it up there, everyone. And thanks very much for tuning in as always. We've been Tag Team, and yeah, peace out. See you later.
Peace. Bye.